trying to pin down what collective intelligence is for a long time. It's a lot harder than it looks because there doesn't seem to be a consistent formula for what makes a team great. Google financed this huge study several years ago, and they found that the most consistent element was psychological safety. Other than that, though, there weren't a lot of traits of high-performing groups that seemed to overlap. So to build a model of collective intelligence, I have gone the opposite route and studied collective stupidity, which seems to offer much more in terms of clear guidelines. The best model of collective stupidity has been created by Stephen Hassan, whose BITE model focuses on cohesive groups that practice behavior, information, thought, and information control. The problem is, however, that the BITE model only covers cults, which are based on coercive control. And this ignores another way that groups can be really stupid, and that is called spreadthink. Spreadthink happens in a diverse group with lots of opinions that never seems to cohere into an effective group. So I think that one of the reasons it's so difficult to pin down the secret recipe for an awesome group is that it's really a delicate balance between spreadthink, which is smart and ineffective, and groupthink, which is dumb but productive. So healthy groups lie in the middle of those extremes, and that's why the magic formula for a perfect group is just really hard to pin down. So collective intelligence happens when a group has lots of diverse opinions, but it can reach enough coherence to accomplish things together. Cognitive waste is what happens at either end of the spectrum. So in a spreadthink situation, the cognitive waste comes from lack of ability to get stuff done and to realize the human potential. With groupthink, on the other hand, the group might accomplish a lot, yet at the expense of authenticity, because people are either repressing their true feelings in order to fit in, or their personality. So again, you have unrealized human potential. Groupthink happens pretty naturally around humans because we were designed to rally around a strong, charismatic leader and form unity by distinguishing ourselves from an outgroup or enemy. The main insight here is that pathological groups form when people shift their morals into neutral to try to fit in and be accepted into a tribe. So even pathological groups are generally comprised of normal people who are simply trying to fit in and avoid being punished by going against the grain. Strong groupthink is how we get companies like Enron, whose employees had no training to stand up to immoral demands. The problem is that most companies encourage obedience all throughout the ranks in their drive to be productive. So I think it's high time that we conceptualize intelligent organizations. Organizations that have a strong mission and purpose, where people are trained to recognize situations of coercive control and taught how to take a stand when they see something that they feel is wrong. There are a million books on leadership, but almost none on intelligent followership. So people are trained from the time that they're little to mindlessly obey their superiors. If I were a CEO, I would implement a program of intelligent disobedience so that every employee was empowered to speak up when they didn't understand or feel comfortable with the orders that they're given. You think that people would know better, but many people simply do not have a model of disobedience to emulate. So if they're submitted to pressure, they will often comply with orders that they internally disagree with. So in an environment like this, when a pathology develops, there is nothing to stop its spread. And right now, we don't have a way to measure the cognitive waste that happens in such a situation. So if a leader is an asshole, people just quietly leave, and the abuse can lower morale and create a very, very toxic workplace. So my husband worked for a narcissist, and half the department was on leave for burnout. His boss never had to face a single consequence, and the cognitive waste wasn't recorded in any ledger. So I don't think this is an isolated, unusual problem. It's pretty pervasive. I've done a lot of work to develop diagnostic tools to identify when groupthink is happening and to create the backbones of a training program to make sure employees are empowered to be intelligent network nodes. Complex organisms need stronger, more sophisticated immune systems. That's what collective intelligence is all about. So let's go back to the opposite side of the equation, which is spreadthink. I once worked for an online university where the president came around to my cubicle and told me to take home my plants because apparently they were non-standard decor. Large corporations often have this cookie cutter culture where they see spread think and try to fix the problem by standardizing people and thought. So their mental model seems to identify anything different as the enemy of cohesion. My work on deep listening takes insights from neuroscience to encourage deeper bonding across diverse domains and culture. And my work on diversity helps teams create new roles to recognize multiple intelligences. The solution for Spreadthink is not taking away individualism or scolding people for their plans, but increasing trust and empathy so that people start to see one another as members of the same tribe who they want to care for. So in this mental model, diversity is a source of intelligence. So whether you have spreadthink or groupthink, it is in both cases a huge cognitive waste as you're not taking advantage of collective intelligence. Collective intelligence at its core allows each person to be at their maximum, to be appreciated for who we are and encouraged to grow into our beautiful uniqueness. Collective intelligence also has a spiritual and moral dimension, which empowers each person to think for themselves and to stand up for themselves and for others when they feel that something is wrong. When we're accepted for who we are and able to truly self-express, our capacity for trust and empathy also grows. And this creates an upward spiral and healthy ecosystem. So the more we can decrease the cognitive waste of an individual, the more we can increase the amount of collective intelligence in a group.